Speaker's Corner aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey, hosted by Kit Cassingham.
Good evening, folks. What do you think about being back in the Choral Club?
I like it.
And as you know, I'm Kit Cassingham, and this is Speaker's Corner. When I was thinking about Chris's presentation tonight, I thought, well, I'll pull up MyMaps on my computer. And I was reminded that I had used MyMaps in reverse when I walked through Italy a few years ago. And I thought, well, that's interesting. It's an app that can go, or a program, whatever, that can go both ways. Chris is going to, the layman's approach to what I think Chris is going to talk about is how to leave the breadcrumbs on your adventures. I followed somebody else's breadcrumbs on my Italian pilgrimage. So I'm fascinated to hear and see what Chris is going to teach us. So help me welcome Chris Guld with Google My Maps. And I'm just going to do the short part. Yay, Chris.
Turn this on. Yes, Google My Maps. I've talked to several of you early on today, and you have just absolutely validated my first statement on this class, is that most people have never heard of Google My Maps and don't know what it is. So that's what I'm going to show you tonight. And I'm Chris Guld. I'm with Geeks on Tour. That's our company, our website. I say our, and because we are geeks. And another word for geek is a propeller head. So we usually wear these, and I say we because here's the other half. You gotta wear it too. We're usually up here together, but it just doesn't work in this situation. So, who are Geeks on Tour? We are technology geeks, not Geek Squad. Although whenever people get a spam email from Geek Squad, they let us know about it. We are travelers, thus the on tour part, and we are teachers. That's what we do. All of our content since 2007 is on our website, geeksontour.com. You can go there and just browse around. We lived in an RV. We lived in that RV for the first 8 years, and then we got another one and lived in it for another 6 years, and now we're living on a cruise ship. Yay! And these slides, and even a class handout, I didn't print it, but you can go get it, are on our website, and I do want to I want to show you where that is. So if you go to geeksontour.com and see, you scroll down just a little bit until you see classes. That's what we call it. When we give a presentation on a subject, we call it a class. So you click on classes, and you will see lists of in date order. So you can go back and see all sorts of classes we've given, but here's the one for today, Odyssey Speaker's Corner, see your travels on a map. Click there, and here are all the slides we're going to go through. And here is a class handout if you want to look at it and or print it out. It has, pretty much everything I'm going to tell you about. So that's our website. That is this class. And Google Maps is one thing. Google My Maps is a totally other thing, okay? It's both by Google, and it both uses the underlying map information, but Google My Maps is for you to create your own map. So Google Maps, I'll bet you everybody's used Google Maps, right? That's just how you get around these days. You can use Google Maps on a web browser, on a computer, to find places and get information. You can also use it on a mobile phone to find places, get information, and do navigation. Google My Maps is a place to make your own maps on top of Google Maps. And when you go to Google My Maps, it'll look like this. It's a place where you can keep your custom maps. And this is on a computer. I mean, you can, on a phone or a tablet in your browser, go to mymaps.google.com, but it's, yeah, to work with it, you need a computer. So that's Google My Maps on a computer, on a browser. The underlying information is still coming from Google Maps. So first, I do want to do one thing on Google Maps that is about saving places. So somebody who has been to Japan and has a recommendation for a hot springs. Does anybody have a recommendation for a hot springs? Okay, how about a recommendation for just anything that you really like, that you think I should see?
Do Disneyland.
Right.
Kamakura.
Kamakura? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I mean, let's say that we were having lunch, and it could have even been years ago, and you say, oh, if you ever get to Japan, you got to go to Kamakura. So I will go to my Google Maps and I'll type Kamakura. Is that it? Kamakura Kanagawa?
Oh no, Kamakura. Kamakura. It's near Tokyo.
So Kamakura Katsushika City, Tokyo? You think?
Well, tap on it and see.
Okay. So we go there, and that's highlighted a whole area, I guess. Kamakura. There we go, Kamakura. And it's right in the heart of Tokyo.
No, it's a town near Tokyo.
Okay, you zoom in and out to find where things have gotten to. So it's at that red marker there, Kamakura. All right, so we're talking years ago. I have no idea when I'm going to go to Japan, but you say I've got to go to Kamakura. So I will find it on the map and I will save it. I click on this little save button and I've saved it in want to go. So this is a place I say I want to go to. And when I've done that, and I can write a little note too. And what's your name?
Emily.
Emily? Okay. Emily says to go here.
It's the wrong
All right, and done.
example.
Now, whenever I am in Japan, in Tokyo, I will see this green flag. I'll say, oh, what is that? So, just another example of that, I have green flags all over the world from things that I have learned about, said, oh, I want to go there. And in Tasmania, and I think we are going to Hobart, as I call, I say, oh, what's this green flag? I click on it and see that that is Mona, and that Maurice says we have to go. So that's just one little example of using saved places. I ask people, what do you do when you hear about a place that you want to go to? They say, oh, well, I have a little notebook. Well, when do you look at that notebook? I mean, will you happen to look at that notebook when you go to Hobart or Tokyo? If you know that you're going to get out your Google Maps and you'll see this and you say, oh, what is that? So, but that is just Google Maps. What I want to talk to you about today is Google My Maps and what they are good for. I've used Google My Maps for many, many years. I know where I've traveled every year of our traveling life because I have a map of it. I want to show you that. So on our personal blog, we have a page for our maps. And it's the most recent year first, so here is 2024, and I can see everywhere we've been. And then there's 2023, and there's all these little dots of places we've been. Then there's 2022, and I made lines on this one. I don't really like lines that much. And then there's 2021 was the last time we really did a major RV trip all over the country. 2020 was a bit of a bust. then 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016. These are all Google Maps. And if I click on it, on one of them, I go to an interactive map, and those markers, this is strictly web-based, okay? So when I click on something on here, I'm needing the internet. I think the internet's fairly good though, so I don't know why that didn't. So let's go to 2014 and see. All right.
Whose internet are you using?
Odyssey residence. That's my only choice here, right? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. So here is the interactive map. There's the list over on the left. That's called the legend of what every marker is. And if I click on a marker, I'll even see pictures that I put there. There's one picture. There's two pictures. So this is, I think, the best way to record your memories of travels and to share them. You know, what are all the different ways? Photos. Everybody takes photos, right? And I say make albums and share your albums with friends. But you know they're going to ask questions about each photo, right? They're going to say, well, where was that? And they're going to want more information about it. A map is the best way to show where you've been, and then if they want to drill down on any one spot, then they'll see pictures, and you can have writing. I don't do too terribly much writing in my markers here. But each of these is a marker. So what I want to teach you tonight is how to make a map with those markers, and then be able to add pictures. Okay. So make your own map. And just to start us off, I'm going to play one of our tutorial videos. So first, you need to remember where you went so that you can make the map. You add a marker for each location. You can change colors and icons for the markers, and you can add photos. So, 692.
Hi, this is Chris Guld with Geeks on Tour, and this video is about how to make a travel map using Google MyMaps. First, let me show you some past ones that I've done. Here on our Geeks on Tour travel blog, we have a whole page just for our maps, and I just love this. I can go back in time to any year and see every place that we went. I make these maps with Google MyMaps, so let me show you how. You go to mymaps.google.com. Make sure you're logged in with your Google account. From then on, this will be your filing cabinet for all of your maps. I'm going to create a new map for 2021. It starts off untitled. I want to give it a title. I could also give it a description. I'm not going to this time. Now I will start adding places. Well, back in January, we went to the Tampa Super Show, and it was at the Florida State Fairgrounds in Tampa, Florida. I just search for that location. It takes me there, and it drops a marker. I could just add that to the map, but I prefer to have my own marker. So I just grab that little marker tool and click wherever I want it. I think we were actually over here. And I will call that RV Super Show and save it. Now, the reason I use my own marker is because I will be adding photos, and if I use the Google marker, I will get photos that other people have added there. I only want my own. The next place we went was in Perry, Georgia. And if I zoom in a little bit here, I see the Georgia National Fairgrounds. That's exactly where it was, so I'll grab a marker and put it right there. And this was FMCA. The next place that we are booked to speak is in Gillette, Wyoming. I will add a marker. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to see the Camplex. That's exactly where it's going to be. I click the marker and click on Camplex, and that is also an FMCA. And last is in Rock Springs, and specifically at the Sweetwater Events Complex. Grab a marker, put it down. Now let's zoom out and see what this looks like. So those are all the places that we're booked to speak. I would call that work. But we did go one place. We went to the Keys for the weekend. We visited some friends who were staying at a place called Futura Yacht Club in Tavernier. And I'll put a marker there. But notice that that just got added to the list of the places that we're working. That's not good. I'm going to make another layer. So I will call this layer work and make a new layer called play. Now I can drag this weekend with friends. You got to grab right on the little icon and there until you get a hold of it, and then drag it down. So now I have the one thing down there, and now that I have these two separate, I would like the icons to look different. So instead of individual styles, I am going to make the work be a uniform style, and you click the little paint can next to all items. And I have an icon on here that is our logo. It's a custom icon, so I have to go get it. And OK. So now if we zoom out and look at the whole map, it'll be easy to tell what were Geeks on Tour stops and what was a play stop. One more thing. For this play stop, I want a photo. So I click on Photos. And what photos do you think this is taking me to? Your Photos means your photos in Google Photos. And it's showing me my Google Photos albums. So here in May, I have a pretty sunset picture from our weekend in the Keys. And now that is going to be attached to that marker, and anytime I click on it, I will see that picture. I do not have to save the whole map. It is saved for me online. I will find this in my MyMaps. So if I want to find this again, I would just go to MyMaps. Make sure you are logged in. And there is the 2021 travel map.
So does anybody else here use MyMaps?
Occasionally.
We have a couple. So otherwise it's all kind of brand new. if you're a traveler, you gotta love maps, right? And this is how you can make your own maps. So how about let's do one for real. We've just been to Alaska.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Does Google allow you, like, I use Google Maps all the time, the regular one everybody uses, and it knows where I've been for 10 years. Can it retroactively create a map for you?
So his question is, since Google Maps knows where you've been, can't it retroactively create this map for you? No. And certainly not as good. It would have made a lot of mistakes. What you're talking about is location history, which is given the name called timeline. You used to be able to look at your timeline on the computer and get a whole year's worth of where you've been. Can't do it anymore. Now it's only on the phones and it's only day by day. You can't get a whole overview. Yes?
I just downloaded the app. You're saying you go to .com.
Yeah.
So
You
what's the difference?
Okay, you downloaded the MyMaps app?
Yes.
What on an Android?
Yes.
There is such a thing, but it's very limited in its capabilities.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
What about adding, you're using Google Pictures, and I don't use that, so can I put things to my phone like
you can okay, so he's asking how do you get pictures in there if you don't use Google Photos? You can upload from your device, from your computer. Okay, so let's do it. I'm going to go to Google My Maps, and that is just mymaps.google.com. I am signed into my Google account, so here are all my existing maps. I create a new map, and I'm just going to make a couple of markers for you to get the idea. We were just in Kodiak, right? So I will type Kodiak. And we weren't there. We weren't in the middle of Kodiak. We were, I don't know exactly. But you know how I can know exactly. I can go look at a photo. But Old Harbor, it was right in here, right? We were anchored right about there, and I'll show you how to get more precise in a minute. And I save after I add a picture. So I add a picture and click Photos. I do use Google Photos, so this is going to bring up all my photos, and I can find the photo of Kodiak right there and insert. So now I have a marker of a place that I've been and it has a picture in it. I click Save. Now I'll go to Anchorage. Zoom out, find Anchorage, zoom in, and find the port. I don't think they call it a cruise port though, did they? Cruise.
Port of Alaska.
What?
It was Port of Alaska.
Port of Alaska. Thank you. Port of Anchorage, Port of Alaska. Okay. Now, once again, I could just add that marker to the map, but I want my own marker. And Port of Anchorage, I click a marker and click there and just Anchorage. Oh, I always like to start with the dates for my markers. So I will say this was, I remember this was July 23 and 24, Anchorage. And a picture. Come on. all strictly web-based here. We are completely dependent on the web for this to work. There we go. And there is Anchorage. Now, one other thing, we took a flight scene tour when we were there. We took a float plane, and Jim made a video of that, and that video is on YouTube. Now, I can't insert a whole YouTube video in that little square, but I can put a link to it in the notes. So I go to YouTube on our channel and look at the videos and see the flying in Anchorage. I will get the link for it and put it in the MyMap. Okay, video of flight seeing, and I'll put a link. So now, if I shared this map with friends and family, they will see the marker at Anchorage. They can click on it, they can see the photos, they can watch the video. I think it's just a great way to share your travels. Yes, in the back. How many photos? I haven't reached a limit. I usually only do 3 or 4, but you can do more. But I'm going to abandon this one and take you to the one I have already done. Then, if we go to MyMaps, and I have made one I call Geeks on World Tour that has all the stops since we started with the Odyssey, and I made the icons be numbered so you can see where we started. We started in Cartagena. You could click that and see the pictures. I like that one. Now, I like the way that I can look at the legend on the left and quickly and easily see the markers and the pictures of each place, and it's in date order. But when you share this with somebody else, it looks a little bit different, so I just want to show you that. Once you have a map done, you want to share it. So I click on share, and anyone with this link can view, and I click copy, and now I'm going to be somebody else. I'm going to be our imaginary friend Danny. And when he goes to that link, he'll see my map. But notice it looks a little bit different. If he clicks on Cartagena, there's the photo, and you click on the photo and you see it full screen. So there's a little bit more back and forth, but you get to see the photos full screen. All right, yes, over there.
So when you do your entire map that's expanded, do you connect the destination to the line so it's just not much about?
Can you make a line? Yes, absolutely. I tend to not like lines that much, but let me show you what I have done. And you can make a line along a road. That doesn't apply for us. Or you can just draw lines. And so I have drawn lines, and I have it on a different layer to show people where we're going all over the world. And I do have another video on how to do lines, but I'm not going to take the time here. So yes, you can draw lines, but yeah, it doesn't do it automatically. And back to here. Yes, question over there?
If you go to a port twice, say Barbados, and that's your port 7 and your port 50, can you put 2 markers on the same place?
Oh, absolutely. Can you put 2 markers on the same place? Problem is, though, is how you view those. If they're really in exactly the same place, they tend to cover each other up, which I will show you that in a minute. Because what So that's how I use Google Maps. I use it for memories, for remembering everywhere we were, and I think it's just the best way to show your journeys. But you can also use it for planning. So we're in Japan. How do we plan for Japan? Well, I have already created a Google My Maps with our ports, and then I asked an AI. This was just mind-boggling. After our AI discussion, I've been playing with AI a little bit more. I have our itinerary in a calendar, and I just put that into the AI. I said, here's our itinerary for Japan. Tell me all the popular attractions that are nearby our itinerary, and put it in a table. Then I can import it into a MyMap. So I'm going to just, I have a video on that, but you can watch it later. I'll show you how. I'm going to just do it. So in Google My Maps, I have made the Japan map of our ports, and I have this spreadsheet that AI made for me in 10 seconds. And I'm going to import this spreadsheet into the map. So here's Japan. And what you do is you create a layer. Add a layer. Import a spreadsheet. This spreadsheet happens to be in Google Drive, in my travel folder, under Villa Vie, and it is attractions in Japan. So that is the spreadsheet. Now, what it wants to know is, okay, there's several columns in this spreadsheet. Select the columns from your file that tell us where to put place marks. Well, that would be address, city, and prefecture, I guess is their kind of like a state. And I continue. Then it says, okay, pick a column to use as the title. That would be name of the attraction. And finish, and that's it. So like 10 seconds of AI coming up with these places, what, 10 more seconds to import it, and now around every port, I have suggested places to go with from AI. Yes?
I'm going to assume you could do that for the itinerary also?
Yep. Excellent. Guess what? That is my next slide. The Odyssey itinerary in a map. And yeah, so easily done. You just import that whole spreadsheet. And if you want to see it done on Geeks on Tour homepage, I have a button here that says Our Cruising Life. I mean, our website is mostly about technology tutorials, but we are starting to keep track of all sorts of things about our cruising life. So you click there, and itinerary map. And I keep this up to date. This one is from the spreadsheet that was updated July 18. So here is everything that is on the current itinerary map.
So can you, like, you know how you have them numbered? If you go back into the itinerary map right now, put a number next to each one, or use the column. Can you have it uploaded when it says select the columns you want, and then it would number them also?
Okay, so he's saying if the spreadsheet has a column with numbers, can you use that for the markers?
Yes.
I don't know about the actual for here, but when you click on it, you can, or in the title of it, you absolutely can. In the actual marker, Not sure. Not sure. But that was something to play with, yeah. Question back there.
Yes, so if you download the entire itinerary, like the blue dot, can you go back and put in a red dot to show the spots you've been to so far?
Okay, if you have the entire itinerary in there in these numbered blue dots, can you then go in and add a dot for ones that you've been to? Sure, you just make a new layer. So one layer is the planned itinerary, the other layer is the visited spots.
You can just download the entire list of places you've been to so far and have it automatically.
You can download the entire list of places you've been to. Well, if you are keeping like a spreadsheet of where you went, then you could import that. Yes. Yes. Okay, John.
How do you manage changes to the itinerary?
How do you manage changes to the itinerary? That's a pain. But not as much as the calendar. Yeah, I also imported the whole itinerary into my calendar. That one, I have to manually change. On the itinerary, I just import the new itinerary to a new layer and then delete the old layer. Yes?
We're going to be in Yokohama for 4 days. How does that handle?
Okay. Yeah, good question. He says we're going to be in Yokohama for 4 days. How do you see that? They are stacked on top of each other. So, Yokohama, where'd it go? It's here. Yeah. So that says 23, and the previous one that you see is 19, and then there's 25. But over on the left here, on the legend, you can see that Yokohama is number 20, 21, 22, and 23. You know, so it's clear in the legend. In the markers, they stack on top of each other, and you only see one. Yes?
When you attach a few photos to a city or a national park, does it take it out of your photo album that you have on the computer, or is it a copy?
When you add a photo to a marker, does it take it out of your Google Photos? No, it's a copy or a link. I mean, yeah. Yeah, Barbara.
Chris, so what happens when you took the itinerary and a lot of it has C days, so it definitely doesn't choose those? Did you have to somehow tell it not to consider the C
I had to
days?
massage the itinerary a little bit, yeah. But actually the C days, it just rejected that because it had no way to know where to place those. Oh, I didn't repeat the question. She said, for the C days, how does the map handle that? And yeah, it ignores them, basically. It puts them in an error pile.
What if the C day was a glacier?
I couldn't hear you.
If the C day was a glacier?
If the C day was a glacier, let's see, how did it handle that? I see straight. Tracy Arm? Yeah. So it put it at Tracy Arm. So even though we didn't get off the ship, we had an identified spot to place a marker at. All right. One other thing you can import, and this is just, you can import directly from a photo album. I mean, you all know if you take photos with your phone, they get a GPS stamp on them, right? Your phone knows where the photo was taken. So you can just import a photo album and create a MyMap. And I will show you that. MyMaps. Create a new map. And import a layer, and this time instead of importing from a spreadsheet, I'll import from an album. And I made this one. Now so far so good. Why can't I select all? I can't. You have to select each one, so I'm just going to do one in each row rather than take too much time. So I've selected 15, 16 pictures. I insert And that is a selection of pictures from our time on the Odyssey, from South America up to where we are right now. See, it says copying photos into your map. Did you notice that? And here we are, and the map will appear in a minute. There we go. So there they are. And it automatically comes in with this circle that looks like the picture. But no, I would still rather it be that those numbers. So I choose sequence of numbers over here, and now they're numbers, but any one I click on, I will get the photo that was taken there. So you can import either spreadsheet data or photos that have geotags. Yeah, Michael.
So, effectively, if I do use Google Photos and I save my pictures in Google Photos, I can go back for 10 years worth of photos and create a map of every place I've been by importing that list of photos. It's a workaround for my other question.
So he says if you wanted to do the past, you could use photos. Yes, exactly. You could go get photos from 10 years ago as long as they have the GPS information in them. I mean, if you took them with a regular old camera, it won't.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, that's the key there. Okay. And how we?
John has a question.
Yes, John.
Some time ago, I played with doing my own maps, and I don't remember if it was layers or what it was. There was a limitation to how many places I could put in without creating another.
Okay, he says he did play with this once upon a time, and he remembers running into limitations. You were probably doing highway routes. You were probably doing driving routes, and yes, there is a limit of 10 items per layer.
Sounds familiar.
10 driving routes per layer, which is another reason why, if you're doing this for memory, do I really care which route I went on? Which brings me to the last point. Google MyMaps cannot navigate. You need Google Maps for that. Google MyMaps is for things that I just showed you. It's for keeping your memories. It's for doing planning. It's not for navigating. It's for things, here's about lines, and there's the video, and that is an active link. So when you go and look at these notes later, you can play the video for how to make lines. Ancestry. Jim has a great-grandfather that came over from Croatia. Well, he followed the route that his grandfather took and made a map out of it, along with pictures and text in the markers. We, in our RVing years, went to every presidential museum. So here's our map of every presidential museum in the US. But for navigation, you need mobile. But, it would be a royal pain to try to create these maps on this little bitty screen. But once they're created, you can add them. So I'm going to switch over here and show you my phone and bring up Google Maps. This is just regular old Google Maps, right? When I already have, okay, and you can, let me get rid of it and put it back. Well, I just tapped on where it says you, that's the saved marker. Anything that you have saved, and a Google My Map is a whole set of saved things, is under that. And if you scroll down, you will see maps. And if I tap on itinerary for Villa Vie Odyssey, this map will get very full very quick. Yeah, so now my Google Maps on my phone has every spot from that My Map. And you can, drill down and find it and do some navigating. But it's kind of temporary. It's like a layer on your Google Map. So it's very easy to just take it off. If I show info, all right, come on. I don't use this very often, obviously. So you have it on there. And if I just tap it again, it's now off. Okay, it's not. Close, there we go. So it's just, you manage your complete map in the MyMaps, but you can put it on and take it off of your Google Maps. Okay. So there's still going to be time for questions, but I want to remind you that you can see all those slides and click the links to watch the videos. There were 3 videos total. I only showed you 1. By going to geeksontour.com classes and finding that link. And I have some questions for you. Let's see if you were listening. The only requirement for making your map is to have a what account? A Google account. It is completely 100% free, and I have been using it, as you saw, for over 20 years, and it is free. All you need is a Google account. And so we recommend making your maps using Google MyMaps. Google MyMaps, not just Google Maps. True, false, all map markers are blue teardrop icons.
False.
False. You can make them be, I have, there's little ships, I've made some for hot springs. Markers can be visible or not based on groups called categories, B, layers, C, folders, or D, albums. Layers. True or false, you must use a computer to make or edit a map. You can do it, but it's strictly browser based. The Android app, you can do a little, but it's just not very capable. So, and last question. You can import location markers from photo album, spreadsheet, or both? Both. Okay. So, any more?
Is there a limit to the number of maps that you can have?
I don't think so. I have dozens and dozens of them. Oh, sorry. Is there any limit to the number of maps that you can have? And it doesn't count against your Google storage either. I mean, some of it is stored in Google Drive, just the title of the map, but the data is all in Never Never Land. I don't know. No limit that I know of. Yes?
Well, that was my question. So how much storage is it, these maps?
No, it's not, it doesn't count in your storage. Can you delete a map? Oh, absolutely. Just right next to the map, there's the 3 dots, and you put it in the trash. Yeah.
Chris, are the maps public? Are they only somebody who knows the link, or how does that work?
It's a setting.
Question?
So, well, she had the mic. You should have been able to hear that. You can make your map public. I think, yeah, or you can make it so that anybody with the link can see it. Either way.
But by default, it's private.
By default, it's private, only to you. Yeah, only you can see it. Okay. Go forth and travel.
Chris, that was lots of fun. When we started designing our trip, I wanted this, but I couldn't find it. So I wish I'd known you several years ago, because I don't think I want to go back and recreate. What?
I just have one.
Okay, tell.
Well, the fine penguins and
Oh,
cooler
yes,
steps.
yes.
Yeah. People say, well, that looks like a lot of work. Yeah, it is a fair amount of work, but it's completely under your control. There are these two apps, Find Penguins and Polar Steps, that you can turn on tracking, and it tracks you.
You want to show us?
Sure.
Okay.
But I had a real problem with them, and anybody who already uses them, I would love to compare notes, because Find Penguins, it's that one right in the middle there, and Polar Steps, which is the red one to the left of it. And I'll go into Polar Steps first, and all you do is turn on tracking. It's really way cool. And then at each point you can add photos to a marker, just like in Google My Maps. But and it gets part of it right. But then look at, can you see all those dashed lines? It thought that I took a dozen plane trips while I was on the cruise ship. I'm sure that has to do with the Starlink, having to, the signal having to go back to the land station and all that. I finally found a setting. Yeah, so this is Polar Steps. And I don't remember why, but I decided I liked Find Penguins better. And in Find Penguins, I dug deeper and I found a setting for high accuracy. It says it uses more battery, but the high accuracy when it plots. And when I turned that on, noticed all these dashed lines here, and I turned on the high accuracy before we got to Homer. And you can see that I just have a nice solid line then. So I thought I fixed it. And then here comes a dashed line to from Anchorage to where we are now. I do not know how to get rid of that. And if I can't get rid of it, then I don't like this map. But yes, isn't this a cool thing to just turn on the tracking and let you know exactly where you are.
Where's the dash line?
What?
Where's the dash line? I don't see it.
Well, the top one. The dash isn't real clear there, but it's a straight line from Anchorage across land. I don't think our ship took that route. So.
Chris, that's funny. Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah. Maybe it's just something in my phone. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try to install it on my iPhone instead of the Android, see if that makes a difference. Could be. So does anybody have any other apps that they use for mapping their travels? No? Oh, okay.
Barb set up a whole list of UNESCO heritage sites based upon the itinerary that you have. And you just do a layer, lay that in on top of it.
Okay, he said that they created a list of all UNESCO heritage sites near our itinerary. Is that cool? And that's in a Google My Map or just on a spreadsheet?
It was a spreadsheet that we imported into, I think it was Google My Maps.
Okay, if it's on a spreadsheet, you can bring it into Google My Maps, as long as it has location data.
And the question was, is it a layer then that you do for it?
It would be a layer, yes. It would be a layer. Okay. Now I give it back to Kit.
Chris, thank you so much. Now people are going to be busy tonight.